Okay, so the problem with the softbox is a simple one, and it's these type of softboxes, the sort of softboxes that have shot up, that are a fraction of the cost and size of what they used to be when I first got started in the film industry over 10 years ago. A softbox was the smallest one you could probably get, would be around you know, a 3x3, and would cost you a few £100, where now you can get a slew, you can get a kit, you know, 3 of this kind of size for probably about a few $100s, which is great on the one front. But when I first started and was looking at softboxes, or chimeras as they were called then, basically, if you know, it was about the soft light. It was about getting a nice soft light, and like today, you'd be looking at about a 4x4 or a 3x3 at least. You know, a 4x4 or a 4x8, or you know, but at least 4 foot across, because the bigger the source, the softer the light. The bigger the source, the softer the light. And herein lies the problem with a lot of these softboxes that you get cheap today. Don't get me wrong, they're great, they're good for doing like sort of interviews with people and kind of news stuff and documentary, you know, sort of sit down interviews. But if you're looking to do portrait photography, or you're looking to do drama like shooting film or kind of video drama, then you know, I wouldn't really call these a soft light. I would call them a spread light, a dispersed light. Yes, the light is a little bit sort of it's more dispersed than soft, because they're really not kind of big enough. So that's my warning really, is that when you're looking to buy a softbox, it's not always clear. You see the pictures in the magazines, and they always look, or the description section, and they always look, oh, that looks really big, that looks like it's 4x4. But a lot of the times it's in centimetres. You know, it's in centimetres, so it looks really big, and then when you get it, it's about this size. Now, this is a, I don't know, it's 2 foot by 2.5 foot approximately, and you know, it's not very soft, to be fair, for two reasons. One, it's not very soft because it's quite small, and it's not big in relation to the subject. If I'm the subject, it's not big, because if you imagine this is your subject and you have a soft light here, now if that was a hard light that wasn't soft, it would create a shadow, right? This would create a shadow on the ground or on the wall behind it. But if you've got a soft light which isn't very big, the shadow will be kind of wispy. It will still be there. So obviously, the bigger the source, the more surface area there is to wrap around this subject which is creating the shadow, so it can wash the shadow out. Because if you were to stand where the shadow was and look forward, if you could see light, then that would mean that light would be big enough to drown out the shadow. It's only when the light's not big enough that you to kind of get either side of the subject in order to sort of drown the shadow out, that's when you end up with kind of harder shadows. And that's really the problem with these. But the problem is twofold, because one, as we've said, they're too small. But the other one with this is that I bought this one a while back, and I don't know whether you can see, as I tilt that towards, there's now, obviously you get lots of different sorts of softboxes. This is a halogen, this is a fluorescent one. It looks like a big energy saving bulb that you'd have in your house. Now you get softboxes that have more than one bulb inside, which is The bulbs are about that sort of big, but you've got about 4 or 5 bulbs inside. That's the sort I should have gone for, because what this is, if I was to stop the exposure down so you could see, but I can't be bothered getting up because I'm quite comfortable, so you'll have to imagine, if it was more exposed on this, you would see there is a circle of light here about the size of my fist. There's a hot spot here, and that is where the bulb is touching the cloth. The bulb is touching the fabric because it's this long. It's the length of the, if I take the front off, the bulb comes all the way to the front. You can see it there. As I just tilt it there, you can just see the bulb there. The bulb comes all the way to the front and touches, you can see it on the hot spot there, and touches the front. So what does that do? Well, it basically creates 3 problems. One, the whole softbox is too small to wrap around the subject and drown out the shadow it's casting. The other one is that it's basically with this particular system is that it's because the bulb comes all the way to the front and touches this silk, what you get is a hot spot. So then the hot spot, if you imagine having a lamp, like a work lamp, and shining it onto a wall. Now if it's 6 feet from the wall, the light that bounces back is going to be nice and shadowless. It's going to be nice and sort of soft. But as you move it closer to the wall, you get a brighter area nearest to the lamp on the wall, and then the light coming back starts to get harder and harder and harder. The shadows that it creates when it's bouncing back off the wall onto things are getting harder and harder and harder. That's because the softbox is now, or the reflection is now getting smaller. It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter into a smaller area, so then the light gets more harder, you get more shadows. And it's the same with this, because it's actually touching the cloth. The hot spot is about that big in the middle. So again, that's another reason why it's not particularly soft, because you've got a hot spot area in the middle, which is quite small, and that's where the bulk of the light is coming from. And you know, the other side of that, the third problem, is that if you're doing portrait photography with this, if I was to take a light reading in the middle and then take a light reading at the edge and at that edge and at that edge, there'd probably be about 2 stops difference, easily 2.5 stops difference. So if you're doing a picture which is like, you know, from the top of someone's head to their waist or to the middle of their leg, the f-stops are going to drop off, you know, pretty kind of quickly. So you're going to set your exposure for what it says here. You know, what the light says here is going to be different to what the light says further down, on the body, because it's getting different parts of the softbox hitting the body. So that's going to give you a problem. So that's basically the three problems of a small softbox. One is its size, because it can't wrap around. The other is because of the this particular one, the bulb runs the whole length, the whole thickness of the width of the softbox, and is right against the gauze at the front, so it then creates a harder light. It's not encompassing the whole box, and the other one is obviously this drop off, if you know, between the sort of centre of the softbox and the corners of the softbox. So what do? Well, you can go and obviously, you know, don't buy anything more than sort of 3 foot by something to get the width, or you can kind of hang a bigger piece of diffusion on a stand or off a stick away from the softbox between the subject and the subject and the lamp itself. I'll give you an example of that. Now obviously you can use some shower curtain, or you can use some 216 or F1, which is professional kind of translucent paper. That's what we use properly. Or you can use one of these. This is you can do a search for Laster lights, and this is just a reflector that opens up. But with this reflector, you get different variations. But with this one, I basically got, I mean, these you don't use because they're just way too wrinkled. That's a gold and a sort of soft silver. But in the middle we have, then we got a solid gold on that side and a solid white. But in the middle we have a translucent. This is translucent. It's the same material as on the bottom of this, as this, basically. So basically, what you can do to soften the light is to hang something like this between the actor and the, as you can see that way, you probably can't see it from this angle, but because that's away from the lamp, it's lit up a much bigger area of this, so then the whole of this becomes the light source. And this is kind of getting on, this is big enough to sort of wrap around me, you know, that bit of wall where my shadow is getting light from this side, which is drowning it out, and it's also getting light from this now, which is going around behind me and drowning out the hard shadow that was giving. So that's a technique you can do, or you can hang a piece of white shower curtain between the subject and the light itself. Alright, that's it. I just wanted to give you a warning really on small soft boxes and how they can be more of a pain in the arse. Like I say, this isn't more of a pain in the arse because it's got such a big bulb. Yes, you can get soft boxes where you've got smaller bulbs and more of them, but you're still going to have the problem of the actual overall size. And we haven't even talked about bafflers yet, but that will be in another video. I shall speak to you very soon. This has been Nick J. Bat. If you like this video and would like to see more, subscribe to this channel would be excellent, and then you can keep you apprised of any new uploads for videos, and feel free to share as well. Hit the share button below and just let your friends know what we do on this channel. Alright, I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Bye bye.